All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be taking a look at HomeKit development,
Okay.
specifically using ESP32 and the Espressif IDF framework,
Nice. Nice.
which sounds a little bit intense, maybe if you haven't worked with it before.
It can be.
But we're going to break it down and show you that it's actually
Yeah.
a lot more approachable than you might think.
Yeah, for sure. And what I think is really cool about this is that you don't need like the most amazing setup in order to get started. So we're looking at this blog post by Achim Peters, who's a developer, and he walks through his process of setting up his development environment for a new ESP32 HomeKit repository that he's working on.
Okay.
But the cool thing is he's doing all of this on a 2013 iMac.
Whoa. That's an old computer.
It is.
That's awesome.
So you don't need the latest and greatest.
Yeah, 10 years old.
To do this.
Yeah, that's super cool. So, like, where does he start?
So he starts with Docker, and Docker is really important, especially if you're new to this whole thing.
Right.
You can kind of think of Docker as like a self-contained workshop for your project.
Right.
So instead of installing all the different tools and libraries that you need directly onto your computer, which can be a bit of a mess, honestly, and it can lead to conflicts.
Yes, right.
You use Docker to create this like isolated environment where everything just works.
Okay, so it's kind of like having like a pre-built workspace.
Exact.
For code that's like portable.
Yeah, and that's why it's so popular for HomeKit development.
Okay.
Because it streamlines the entire process. You don't have to worry about all that other stuff.
Saves a lot of time.
Saves you so much time, so much frustration.
Yeah.
And then you can actually share that Docker container with other people too.
Oh, wow.
So if you're collaborating, they can get the exact same setup.
Okay, so that's like the base. Then Docker is like the foundation of our workshop. What's the next most important tool that we need to know about?
So after that, you're going to want to use the ESP IDF, which stands for Espressif IoT Development Framework.
Okay.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is.
But basically, this is what you need to communicate with that ESP32 chip, which is going to be like the brains of your HomeKit device.
Right, okay.
And it gives you all the tools, all the libraries, the building blocks that you need to actually write the code that's going to control things like sensors and outputs and connect to your Wi-Fi network and all that.
Does he install this through Docker as well?
He does.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's really simple, just one command in the terminal.
Nice.
And Docker will pull in everything that you need.
That's awesome.
And then the Docker dashboard, which is a separate application, will actually show you a visual representation of everything that's installed. So
you can confirm, that everything is set up correctly.
Exactly. You can see it. It's all nice and visual.
That's always reassuring.
Yeah, definitely.
I noticed in here as well that Python seems to be a pretty big part of this whole setup.
It is.
Why is that?
So Python is like the Swiss Army knife of programming languages, I
like that.
It's used for like everything from web development to data analysis to machine learning. And in this case, we're using it to actually interact with the ESP32 chip.
Okay.
And Python is really beginner friendly.
Right.
So it's a great language to start with.
He provides like detailed instructions for installing Python 3, right?
He does. He walks you through all of the steps. So even if you've never used a terminal before, you can follow along and get it installed.
Awesome. And then once we have Python, we get introduced to PIP, which honestly sounds a little bit intimidating.
I know it sounds scary.
It does.
But PIP is actually your friend. It's basically a package manager for Python.
Okay.
Think of it like an app store for your code.
Okay. All right. I like that.
So if you need a specific library or tool to maybe control a certain type of sensor or connect to a specific network, you can tell PIP to go and grab that for you.
Gotcha.
And it'll download it. It'll install it, and you're good to go.
So this is how we get like all of the specialized tools that we need for this specific project.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So one of the important tools that we're going to be using is the EST tool.
Yes.
And that is used for compiling our code and then uploading it to the actual chip itself.
Exactly. It's like the bridge between your computer and that physical hardware.
Awesome. So we have Docker, which is our workspace.
Yep.
We have ESP IDF, which allows us to talk to the chip.
Right.
We have Python as our language.
Yes.
And PIP to get all of our specialized tools and libraries.
Yep, that's the gist of it.
Is there anything else?
I think that's everything.
Okay, cool. So with all that set up, we are ready to actually start doing stuff.
To start making.
And Occam kind of teases this at the end.
Yes, he does.
His blog post.
He's got this cool project that he's working on.
Right.
And it's a Hello World project.
Nice.
And it's a HomeKit-controlled LED.
Oh, very cool.
On an ESP32.
So we're going to see all this in action.
We are.
We're going to take all these tools that we've set up and actually like make something.
Yeah, build something real.
That interacts with HomeKit.
You got it.
Awesome. So this will be cool because we can see how this all comes together.
Yeah, and this is a really good foundation for just understanding how HomeKit communication works. And then from there, you can start to imagine, like, okay, what else can I build? What other cool things?
Right, what other kind of sensors could I control?
Yeah, exactly.
How could I use this to, make my home smarter or whatever?
For sure.
So this is great. We've learned how to set up our development environment.
Yes, we have.
Which is a really important first step.
A big word.
In this HomeKit development journey. And it's super cool that we could do this with, tools that are readily available and even kind of older hardware if we want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the question is, now that you know all of this, what are you going to build?
Yeah, what are you going to create?
You're going to make a smart lighting system? Are you going to make a security sensor?
Yeah.
What's it going to be?
What are you going to do?
The possibilities are endless.
They are endless. And this deep dive has given you the tools and hopefully the inspiration to go and actually create something.
Make it happen.
Make it happen. So stay tuned because we're going to be doing a lot more of these deep dives.
Yes, we are.
Exploring the world of ESP32 and HomeKit development.
More to come.
Yeah, it's a big world out there.
Yeah.
And this is just the beginning.
Just getting started.
All right, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.